welcome to Something Unoriginal. On today's episode, we are joined by Daniel Johnson. We talk about the Bay Area wine scene, what it's like to run an art gallery and ice rink, and a little on hockey. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, follow, and rate the show. It helps us grow and keeps the episodes coming. Also, follow us on Instagram as Something Unoriginal Podcast so you never miss updates on the show. Thank you. All right, and we're back. Daniel Johnson.
What's up, buddy? Good to be here.
Dude, I'm so happy that you're joining me right now.
Yeah, it's good to be back in town, honestly.
Honestly, yeah, for sure, man. How's the Bay?
Bay's good. Yeah, I'm up in North Bay, up in Sonoma County. It's great, man. It's been raining for like 3 weeks straight.
Really?
So that's kind of brutal, but aside from that, it's usually 75 and sunny, which is nice. So, yeah, it's good. It's good. I definitely miss the mountains, though. It's like, I love the landscape of Sonoma County, but yeah, you kind of forget how tall these mountains are. Holy shit. I get, every time I tell people where I live or where I'm from back in California, people are like, you live in a town called Alpine? Like, that sounds mountainous. And I'm like, sure. Yeah, I guess I never thought of that, you know? You just get so used to the landscape you grow up in. But yeah, it's good, man. It's treating me well for, this chapter of my life. So no complaints. No complaints.
How long do you expect to stay there for?
I don't know, really. I think a lot of it depends on, just my work and where that leads me. It's like, I know we're not very old, but the older you get, it's like the more you kind of want to be near friends and family. And so
that's true.
I came out hot in California and loved it and fell in love with it right away, got to work and every year that passes, I'm just like, it'd be good to, be back with the grandkids and like the parents and, all the homies here because we have a good time. So yeah, it's great, but I don't know how much longer I'll be out there. I try not to think about it and just enjoy. It's cliche, but enjoy the moment, right?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
There's a good mystique about that area over there.
Yeah.
Is that kind of what drew you into the Bay, I guess?
Just the family. I mean, my mom's from there and our family business is there. And yeah, I mean, I think initially the first time it was like, I moved out there in 2019 for the first time and it was just going to be like 4 months. I was going to work at my family's ice rink, just kind of explore a new place. I'd never lived in another place, like a bunch of the people around here that are our age, they went out on missions or they did study abroads or they did whatever. Like, I never got that. And so I didn't know what it was like to live outside of Utah, and I had visited Santa Rosa a bunch and visited San Francisco a bunch and, just like Northern California in general just was very attractive to me. And I kind of wanted to just explore it for a little bit. So like I said, I mean, I planned on going out there for 4 months. It turned into 9. And then I ended up securing an internship out there and that, so I came back to Utah for a few months, did one more semester, got a few more classes under my belt, and then went back to Northern California and did an internship at Corbell Winery. And that was interesting. Kind of thought like, okay, if I'm going to live in Northern California, maybe I get my foot in the wine industry, business there. And, that's a whole other thing. But, yeah, I think just between like the family and just the family business and just really wanting to see a new place and experience a new place and meet new people. And it seemed like the best option for sure.
Oh, yeah, dude. Yeah. That's sick.
Yeah,
do you find yourself more of a wine person now that you've been out there for a while?
I like to think so, but still, it's still tough for me to like decipher like the difference between a lot of wines. But yeah, definitely turned into a lover of red wine for sure.
Really?
Love red wine.
Okay.
I mean, I'm like drinking it with every meal now. It's bad. Yeah, I'm a red wine alcoholic, so
I mean, it's readily available, so that makes sense.
So readily available. Yeah, everywhere you turn, somebody's offering you a bottle of wine in Northern California. So especially in Sonoma and the Napa area, it's like it's freaking everywhere. But yeah, definitely. It's kind of funny, It's like when I got my internship, I step into this whole wine business, and you got all these people that grew up in like wine families and like know all this and stuff. And I'm like, I'm just like this Mormon kid from Utah. They're like, what are you doing here?
For sure.
And I'm like, okay, hey, relax. I'm here to learn.
Sure.
It was a good lesson of like, go into something that you're not familiar with, you have no background with, you have no clout with, and just have an open mind. And I think a lot of people will, not just like obviously the wine industry, but it's like anything in life, go in with a humble, open mind, and people will take you under their wing. I mean, they knew I didn't know anything about wine or anything. And I mean, it was a finance internship, but it was still finance at the winery. And and
you get to know the product real well from that.
Yeah, definitely. I remember like a few days before my internship, I'm still in Utah. I'm going to drive out there for the internship. And I just realized I don't know like any of the product they offer. I'm like, I'm about to go crunch numbers for the next 4 months, and I don't even know what. So I go on their website, and I'm like, oh, okay, they have like a brandy, and they have like a dry brut, and they have like all this, and I was like, yeah, that was probably a good thing to know before I work for them.
For sure.
It's like it's kind of funny.
Dang,
It's like
man.
it's like applying to a job at McDonald's and being like, so what do you guys sell here?
Yeah, exactly.
Like burgers, man.
Yeah. Like, do you guys compete with Walmart or something?
Yeah,
I went that for
exactly.
sure.
Like, what industry are you in here?
Yeah. So as far as somebody who knows absolutely nothing about wine, what would your introductory course be for somebody who has no idea what they're talking about?
Introductory course.
What are the necessities to learn, I guess I should say, about wine?
I think the most basic thing I learned about like maybe specifically red wine was like being able to taste like what a nice bottle of wine tastes like and like what an aged full body red tastes like opposed to like very new, like the older the better, right? I mean, if you want to be drinking like 2012, 2013, 2014 like somewhat aged red wine opposed to like a 2021 bottle or something.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
so I've just noticed like definitely the difference between like a nice bottle and a cheap bottle, because before it was like, okay, you could give me boxed wine, I don't care,
Yeah.
like it all tastes the same.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as an introductory course, what's cool is there's a lot of learning you can do on your own, and there's a lot of resources. Like there's the Napa Valley Wine Institute, which is basically like a certification of learning about wine, and they'll like send you bottles. I've never done it.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I've never done it. I wanted to when I lived here in Utah, but they wouldn't send the wine to. They can't get it across the border.
Utah laws.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that makes sense.
and then when I went to California, then I was, you're working a 9 to 5. You don't have time to, play with wine. So
That's crazy, though.
But yeah, so that's a great resource. They like send you bottles of wine, and they like teach you how to like taste properly and how to pair things and like the origins of this, and like it's like a whole thing. Like I said, I've never done it, but I'm definitely interested in it. And then there's like, it's called like the Cornell Wine Institute or something. You don't have to obviously be admitted to Cornell, but you just like pay like $1,000 or something, and you can do a course. So yeah, it's kind of interesting. I mean, wine was never something I really like latched onto, but doing my internship definitely like made me respect it for sure. I was like, oh,
familiarize
this is
yourself
cool.
with it.
Yeah, it's sick. I mean, like I said, it's not something, I don't know, not gonna like make a living out of it. Maybe I go back into the wine industry, I don't know, but definitely an interesting field coming from a kid that grew up in Alpine, Utah. So
never seen a bottle of wine in your life, and all of a sudden you're immersed in it.
Oh yeah, like you grew up on like the Martinellis.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you go experience like this whole culture of like all these wine snobs, But yeah, it's fun.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
What wine would you say tastes the least like wine?
Exactly. Yeah. It's got to be like, oh man, there's a wine from Ferrari Carano. It's a winery in Healdsburg, California, and it's called like a Fumé Blanc or like a Flume Blanc or something like that. They have it at Trader Joe's, actually. I don't know about the Trader Joe's here, but they have it in the Trader Joe's in Santa Rosa.
Okay.
And it is really tasty. And if you don't like alcohol, you don't like wine, you don't like any of that, this will still taste pretty good in my opinion.
Interesting. Okay.
Really solid. Whites, if you're gonna drink wine and you're like picky about like maybe you don't love it or something, like white's definitely the way to go. Like red wines can definitely be just a little heavy for people that maybe don't want like a super strong taste. So
That makes sense.
yeah.
So anybody who wants to get into wine, there you go.
Yeah, Ferrari Carano.
Start with white, go Ferrari Carano.
Yeah.
This isn't anywhere near the same Ferrari that you find in Italy?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No. I know he had something to do with like I think he was like a Hollywood movie director or something that wanted to open up a winery, but we might need a fact checker on that one because I don't want to. Don't quote me on that
Jamie.
one. Yeah,
we need a Jamie.
Yeah, we need a Jamie for sure because we need to fact check that one. Don't want to be giving false information to the people, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Interesting. Okay. Ferrari Carano is what you called it?
Ferrari Carano. Yeah, I went there on my birthday with a few friends.
Like to the vineyard?
To the vineyard. Yeah,
we
did a tasting. Definitely, I think I've probably done 10 to 20 wine tastings in Northern California since living there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're surrounded by 1,200 wineries. You could close your eyes and point, you'll run right into a winery. And so Ferrari Carano was definitely the most beautiful for sure. So yeah, for the beauty aspect, it was great, but the service was definitely a little sketchy for sure.
All right. Do tell.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it was my birthday, so I'm stoked to be there, and we sit down, and I'm kind of like, you know, hey, it's my birthday, you know, hoping to get maybe some special treatment or something. She's just like, cool, happy birthday.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
moving along. All right. Well.
All right. Yeah, it just felt very rushed. Like a lot of times you'll do wine tastings and they'll just be so great, and they'll talk about like the landscape and the grapes and all this, and just be very friendly. And it was like, you know, so as far as beauty goes, definitely the most beautiful winery I've ever been to. But yeah, definitely a little disappointing for the tasting. But the wine was good. Wine was good. So no complaints.
Well, as long as the wine was good, I think the rest, you know, makes up for it, I guess.
Exactly. Yeah.
But that's rough. What would you say is like the best service you got from a winery?
It had to be at a place called Stone Street. It's owned by the Kendall Jackson family.
Okay.
And man, this guy just went above and beyond. I went with some friends, and yeah, it was so above and beyond. He would you know, describe all the wines. He was very friendly. He actually took us out to the vineyard, and we could pick grapes off of vines and eat them.
That's
and he like
dope.
wasn't supposed to do that. He's
really?
like, my boss isn't here, so we can like go out and do it. I'm like, geez, man, this guy's crazy, you know. And he's like offering to take pictures of us, and it was such a good time. And
that's so
you know,
cool.
There's so many wineries that usually like a rule of thumb for me is like I'm never gonna go to one twice because I'm like I just want to like see a new one every time I go.
Yeah, totally.
And Stone Street is definitely one where I was like I would go back and request this guy because he was so sick to hang out with.
That's so cool, man.
Yeah, like the wine, you know, it is what it is. The wine was great, but this guy was just, you know, like I said, above and beyond, and just great customer service and just a chill guy to hang out with. So that was fun. That was a good time.
Man. Would you say most people in the wine industry are like pretty passionate about the wine? Like they get into it because they want to be there, not just because it's another job to have?
Definitely. Yeah. The wine industry is like very tight-knit community. Yeah, it's like it's these people's passions, you know. Mm-hmm. It's like their whole life revolves around harvest of the grapes and the wine and the crushing and the bottling, and it's like a whole culture that I was exposed to, but definitely wouldn't say I'm a part of. Like, I would have to really dedicate my life to like going into that field. Mm-hmm. It's not like a 1 foot in, 1 foot out type of deal. Like if you're doing it, you're doing it. And
yeah, for sure.
It's hard. As far as like a career goes, it's hard to like pivot in and out of the wine industry. Like I said, you're either in or you're out.
Yeah.
And people that are in stay in it for generations, and you know, and people that aren't just, you know, do what I do, show up and get drunk off wine at tastings. So, but we'll see.
Dang, man, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Would you say how much of that would you say is because of like just the culture in that area? that like people are more passionate about it. Does that even make sense?
No, that makes sense. I mean, you have this region of grapes that are like the most pristine growing regions, potentially in the world behind like France and Italy. So it's like Northern California is so interesting that it just struck gold in this one growing region of Napa and Sonoma. So yeah, I mean, when you have a growing region that's competing with like France on wine, then yeah, you're gonna have passion driven people for sure, because like you have this like wealth of land, and you want to produce the best wine you possibly can. And so you have people that literally have dedicated their whole lives and generations of kids that have taken over wineries. And yeah, I mean, it's a whole thing out there. It's a whole thing. I mean, everybody wants to compete with the European wines, and if you're going to do it, it's going to be in the Napa Sonoma region. But not even just that. I mean, a lot of California places have great growing regions.
Totally.
Near Santa Barbara, there's a lot of good wine.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, even LA has some wineries. But the rainfall and just the soil and the fog and everything like that just really sets the Napa and Sonoma region aside from most places. So
interesting.
So yeah, like I said, I'm no expert, but it's been fun to be exposed to that type of industry and that type of lifestyle, because it really is a lifestyle. It's not a job that you clock out from. It's the grapes and the wine, and most of the wineries are run by families that are trying to sell their bottles and what they produced. And yeah, it's not a job that you clock in and clock out. It's a lifestyle for sure.
That's interesting. You base your entire life on it.
Yeah.
Wow. Dang, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's cool.
So as far as a person coming from Utah that's never been to the Bay Area, which, is kind of weird seeing as though my brother lives in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
But what would you recommend I do? What's your travel guide on what to do in the Bay when I get out there?
Yeah, the travel guide. There is just so much fun things to do. I think Marin Headlands. So you're going like you're going north over the Golden Gate, and you have like Mount Tamalpais,
just for like hiking,
the Marin Headlands. Yeah, just good hiking. That's nothing insane. You're not scaling any mountains. It's just pure bliss, pure beauty, easy. I wouldn't even call it hiking. It's a stroll. There's a lot of strolls. San Francisco itself, obviously has taken some turns. So there isn't, it's definitely not safe at times in certain areas, but I would say it's purely district based. I think the Marina district has some hidden gems. Did a little bar crawl with some friends over Halloween in the Marina district, which was super fun.
Oh, that sounds cool.
And the Mission district is also something I'd recommend. Good shopping, good food, good bars, good nightlife, and it feels somewhat safe.
Yeah, for sure.
But there's a few districts to stay away from. Just crime rates and the unfortunate side is there's a lot of homelessness and a lot of drugs on the street and stuff, which is not good.
Do you feel like it's easily avoidable though?
I think so, in my opinion. I think if you're a tourist and you show up and you don't know where you're going, you might run into some trouble. But from somebody that's, I go to the city all the time, and I've kind of learned where to go and where not to go. And so yeah, I would say there's some fun districts in San Francisco. Marin Headlands for sure. San Rafael is a great little city with some hidden gems for food. It's where Dominican University is.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's a little private school there that I have a few friends that go there.
Is that like in San Francisco, or what part is this?
That is in Marin County, which is the county just above, north of the Golden Gate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
gotcha.
So like Sausalito, San Rafael, all that. So there's a lot of good surfing.
Really?
Yeah, a lot of good surfing.
That
It's
actually
sharky.
surprises me.
It's sharky and it's cold, but there's good surfing.
Really?
I just got into surfing about 2 years ago when I moved out there.
Okay.
And it's been fun. I had a mentor, which was great, showing me how the waves break, how they work, how the swells work, how to be safe, how to do it right.
I bet that was so nice.
Oh, it was great. It was great. Yeah, he was like this hippie guy that was raised at
Really?
Dillon Beach. He prays before every time he gets in the water. He prays to the ocean.
That's a man who respects the water, man.
Yeah, no, he respects the water. He's like some days I've come out here and I've prayed and it hasn't felt right. And the ocean didn't want me in there, so I didn't surf that day. And I'm just like, wow.
I respect
I was
that
like,
man
I
so
hope the
much.
ocean tells you that we can surf today because we came all the way out here. You know?
Yeah, for sure.
I don't want to turn back.
Dang.
So yeah, a lot of good surfing too. But the great thing about Northern California is, the food. The food's so good. It's so good. It's hard to beat. And yeah, just a lot of good little hikes and.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I'd say probably the best thing to visit is the Schultz Museum and the Snoopy's Home Ice Rinks.
Yeah.
Not like I'm trying to use free advertising, but
Well,
no, just kidding.
let's get into that. So you work currently there, correct? Snoopy's Ice Arena Museum. What is it? What is the official name of it?
Where I work is Snoopy's Art Gallery and Gift Shop.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's a whole campus that my grandpa, my grandma, and then my grandpa's late wife, Jeannie, has kind of formulated over the years. Mm-hmm. So started out with the Redwood Empire Ice Arena, or Snoopy's Home Ice. We built it for the community. My grandma, there was an ice rink in Santa Rosa, off Summerfield Road, and it was going to close down. It was run by a guy named Skippy Baxter.
That's the coolest name.
He was the first guy to do a backflip on skates.
Really?
Yeah. So he's famous for that. You can Google him. He's super famous for figure skating. And
that sounds like out of a movie.
Yeah, Skippy Baxter, man. What a character he was.
That's so cool.
So my grandma and grandpa were like, we'll build this rink if you run it,
Yeah.
And Skippy was like, yeah, all right, we're getting a new ice rink, because they were going to have to shut down theirs because it was just, I can't remember. I can't remember if it was like it was damaged or they were having financial problems or something, but the gist of it was my grandma wanted to give a gift to the community, mm-hmm. and so she built the rink. It attracted, obviously, it really birthed like hockey and figure skating in Sonoma County, and I'd say a huge influence in just Northern California in general. So that was great gift for the community. And then later on, my grandpa built a studio to work on his cartoon strips there.
For frame of reference, so your grandfather is Charles Schultz.
Yeah, so I figured that was gonna have to come up at some point.
Yeah, I was trying to avoid it, man. But
you
work there. You work there.
You're good. I know it's hard. I really threw myself in. Yeah. For anybody listening, my grandpa's Charles Schultz, so he created the Peanuts gang, Charlie Brown and Snoopy. All the lovable little characters. Pretty wholesome content for the most part.
For sure.
A lot of sarcasm from Lucy, but it's a good comic strip to read, and
they're a good gang.
Yeah, and it's got a cult following, so people love it
for sure. But back to you specifically.
Yeah. So my grandpa built the studio, so that was another part of the land. Then he built like a little baseball field for the kids and for employees to play baseball at, and then then in the early 80s they built the art gallery and gift shop, which I now run, and then when my grandpa died in 2000, his late wife Jeannie, my mom's stepmom, built the Charles M. Schultz Research Center and Museum across the street as well. So it's kind of like just been like pieced together in this fun campus, and that's why visitors are always saying like this is an interesting, weird place, because it's like, okay, you can go watch a hockey game and on the ice it's Snoopy characters, and then you can go buy a plush Snoopy and then go to like this museum and then like go play baseball at the baseball field. It's just like the strangest place. And
I did not know there was a baseball field there.
Yeah, there's a baseball field, and then we have like the Warm Puppy Cafe inside the ice rink, which was always nostalgic for me growing up, because it was like, anytime I smell coffee, I think of the Warm Puppy Cafe, because I'd always walk in there and it was like, you got the cold rink and you got the
Yeah.
coffee brewing, and it's, you know, you could watch hockey or watch the figure skaters skate, and yeah, it's a fun place to be.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I got hired 2 years ago. Well, when I left Corbell, when I finished my internship, they did offer me a job out of school to go back.
Okay.
For me, it was very weird. Corbell was about 30 minutes from my family business, and for me, it was very weird to be working in Sonoma County and not working for my family business.
That makes sense.
So, yeah, that's why, like, a part of me is like, okay, if I don't keep going with Peanuts, I probably won't live in California anymore, because, like, it's too weird for me to be there and not work for my family business.
Yeah, I see that for sure.
So, yeah, so it was like, okay, I had a job offer from Corbell, and then at the time there's this lady, her name's Nancy Williams. She ran the art gallery and gift shop for like 30 years.
No way.
Yeah, she's run it. I mean, my grandpa hired her. Like,
No way.
yeah, gnarly. And so, and I have a good relationship with her, and I would work with her in the art gallery and gift shop like one day a week when I was working at the rink, doing like maintenance and ice guarding and stuff. But I was like, you know, I don't know anything about gift shops. I don't know anything about art. You know, I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, it doesn't. But our museum director now, her name's Gina Hunsinger. She was running the ice rink at the time.
Okay.
And so she hired me. She's like, you should run the art gallery and gift shop when you graduate college. And I was like, whew, I am okay. Thank you, though.
I will
I
pass.
appreciate it. I will pass. You know, and she's like, I think it would be special if you did, as far as like your grandpa's legacy. And I think, you know, with you graduating from business school, you know, financially the place wasn't doing incredible. I mean, it's more there as like for the Peanuts fans. It's not like we're bankrolling it, you know?
Yeah, totally.
And so, I mean, like everything on that campus is. Museums, a 501c3 nonprofit. The ice rink runs at a deficit. Art gallery and gift shop runs at a deficit. I mean, we're really not there we're not Disneyland. We're not pulling money out of people's pockets. It's
sure.
more just like there's this fun history, and we want to keep it alive. And we're fortunate enough to have Peanuts be big enough where we can, you know, financially support the place and give fans a place to go and community members a place to go. So going back to that, she's like, you know, I think with your business background, you know, you could maybe see if we can actually make this thing profitable, which we've never done. And so I was like, okay, I'm fired up after graduating. I'm ready to like take on a new challenge. Let's go for it. You know, I'm down. It seems like one big project to me. It seems like here's a problem. There's a million ways to solve it. Put your take on it and go for it. Like they did give me a lot of freedom, which, you know, I had to earn from graduating college, multiple interviews, my internship at Corbell, job references. Like it wasn't on a silver platter, but they thought with some young energy that maybe they'll give me a shot. So yeah, went in there and tweaked a few things, and it's been good. It's been good. I mean, I think it's you want to modernize the place and take it in a new direction, but you also don't want to lose the nostalgia of it. A lot of people come back to the art gallery and gift shop, and they'll be like, man, this place looks exactly like it did when I was a kid, you know? And you want to keep a little bit of that too, you know? And so you don't want to completely flip the place upside down and do everything different. So
yeah, but it needs a little refreshing, maybe.
Needs a little refreshing for sure. And so I went in there and I brought them into the modern era. You know, we started doing a lot on social media. I switched our POS system, point of sale system, over to Shopify.
Oh, that's super nice.
Yeah, Shopify's great. The business analytics behind Shopify are really nice. The reports come out clean. You can really track your product and inventory and sales really well and really easily and efficiently on it. So yeah, there's, you know, my goal was, okay, I'm not going to run this place for 20 years, but for a few years, let me try and get them on a good track and then pass it on to somebody that actually knows retail really well, knows the art world really well, somebody that will stick with them for 20 years, you know? And so that's kind of where I'm at, you know. So I'm kind of like eyeing the future a little bit, seeing like, okay, once I'm done with this, I would call it a project. Once I'm done with this project, you know, what's another project I can go do, you know? So, but yeah, it's been good working with Snoopy and the Peanuts gang and having access to all the art and being able to, you know, bring products to life and work with licensees and vendors and all that has been an interesting ride for sure.
I believe it,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, it's been interesting.
That's dang. It's okay. So like a regular day for your job. I mean, I
hmm
imagine because you've implemented a lot of stuff and kind of turned it around. But
Yeah.
what you clock in? What do you do?
Um,
Or you're probably
well, it's
salary, so you probably
essential to grab a
clock.
coffee in the morning. So that's
Oh
first.
yeah, dude.
That's first.
Mhm.
Grab a coffee in the morning, go to work. Well, actually, the Warm Puppy Cafe has great coffee too, so maybe
Okay.
slide through there. Yeah, just checking in with my employees, making kind of an action plan for the day of what they need to be working on,
Mhm.
whether it be we're getting a new display up, we have incoming product that needs to be
Mhm.
processed.
Mhm.
I do my best to, you know, keep my employees busy, make sure they have tasks to be working on, and make sure they have the tools to do it. So that's important to me. So just checking in with the team, go up to my office, answer, call back people that have left my voicemails, answer emails, keep projects going. We're always designing exclusive product for the campus because when tourists come, they want something that says Santa Rosa on it or something like that.
Yeah,
You know,
totally.
says California on it. So I work with a designer. Her name's Karen Ashton. She does all my product designing for me. So
Nice.
what I can do is I have access to uh, an art bank of basically every comic strip, every piece of Peanuts art
Whoa,
in the
that's
world.
cool.
So all 17,000 something strips
No way.
plus whatever art is in the world about Peanuts, and I can, you know, use that art bank to create new product,
Oh, that is
which is,
sick, man.
yeah, it's fun. And then I work with Karen, the designer, to I say, look, this is a fun piece of art. I like that it's you know, Snoopy from the 50s. He looks like a puppy. It's cute. It would look good on like a youth girls tee or something,
Yeah.
or let's do, you know, this keychain with this or this piece of art by this guy that has to do with Peanuts is really cool. If
Mhm.
it's officially licensed, we can bring it in the shop. And so there's all sorts of creativity and also creativity that needs structure to bring a project to life, you know? So, yeah, just constantly in the emails and on chats with people about bringing product in and making sure the place is, you know, a good place to visit when people come and visit. So yeah, usually just crushing that all day, working with customers. We also have a pro shop in the building
Okay.
with hockey gear and figure skating gear.
All right.
So like I just submitted our hockey CCM order for the year. I think it was like $15,000 worth of hockey gear,
Oof.
and
Oof.
yeah. So you know, not only am I running like an art gallery and a Peanuts themed gift shop, but I'm also like fitting kids for skates, and
Yeah.
like I fit a million pairs of figure skates, you know, a
Dang.
year, and it's like you really have to just constantly be like switching your mindset throughout the day. Like, okay, I'm talking to this guy that's an art dealer from LA, so I have to like deal with his ego,
Mhm.
and then I'm designing product. Like, when have I ever designed product in college? I went to business school.
Yeah, yeah,
You
for
know,
sure.
like I don't know what I'm doing, and then you switch your mindset over to like, okay, angry customer, so deal with that. And then you
Yeah.
switch your mindset over to some little kid wants to start hockey, so you got to fit him in hockey gear head to toe, you know?
Yeah.
So it really is like a very unique job, and I think, you know, not to like toot my own horn, but I think they lucked out with having me run the place because I grew up with Peanuts knowledge and background, and then I grew up playing hockey. So it's like
Yeah, totally.
I was a pretty easy employee to just insert
Yeah.
into that position. Like I always think when I'm inevitably I'm going to be training the next person soon,
Mhm.
and I'm like, this poor next person has no idea what they're getting themselves
Yeah,
into,
for
you know.
sure.
So
Dang, man.
Yeah, it's an interesting job for sure. Very
For
unique,
sure.
very unique. It's hard to explain to people in one sentence sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. I figured it was going to be a huge, like, ordeal that you guys got to go through with your job every day. So,
Yeah.
but hockey being a big part of your life,
Mm-hmm.
and you living in the Bay,
Yep.
you're still a Minnesota Wild fan.
Still a Minnesota Wild fan.
Really?
Ride or die. Yeah. I'd say Sharks are number 2.
Really? Okay, so
I'd say
Sharks have
are
moved up.
Yeah, they've moved up for sure. It used to be Wild, Avs, and that's really about it. Just Wild and Avs, because my brother Brian's a big Avalanche fan, so
Yeah.
he forced me to be a Avalanche fan too growing up. But
I mean, they're technically the local team here, right?
yeah, you get like the Colorado Mountains, and they're stateside, which is good. So I support the Avs. I was stoked for them when they won the cup, but yeah, I mean, if you're in the Bay, yeah, you got to be a Sharks fan. Yeah, so I like the Sharks. They've had some good players over the years, and they move the puck well, and they always have a pretty good team every year. So I don't mind supporting them, but definitely ride or die Wild fan. It's just too nostalgic for me. I mean, I think I was at my first game when I was 1 or 2, being held by my mom, and we rented out one of those boxes, and so there's baby photos of me in a Wild game, like
so cool.
Their inaugural season, and then
I was gonna say they became a team right around the time you were born, right?
Yeah, I was born in '98, and they became a team in 2000. I think 2000 and 2001 was their inaugural season, which they went pretty deep in the playoffs, if I'm not mistaken, their first year. But we've never won a cup. I'm saving I have a thigh tattoo of Snoopy playing hockey on my right thigh.
Yeah.
And I'm saving my left thigh for a Wild logo with a Stanley Cup for when we win the cup. So it could be this year. It could be in 40. I'm not sure. So I might be a 70-year-old getting a tattoo of the Wild Stanley Cup, but I'm saving my left eye for that. So
you're making sounding a Wild fan like being a Jazz fan, honestly.
Yeah, it is. It is. Between growing up a Jazz fan and then growing up a Wild fan, it's been painful.
Yeah.
But we're sticking it out. We're hopeful fans. We're
sure.
hopeful fans.
For sure. Dang, that's interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
So San Jose Sharks are now number 2, obviously because of where you live.
Yep.
What about dabbling in basketball? How do you feel about the Warriors nowadays? Are they overtaking your Jazz fandom?
No.
Okay,
no.
That's good.
Everybody thinks that because I like the Warriors. So everyone's like, you're just on the Warriors bandwagon. I'm like, I'm still a Jazz fan, guys. Come on. Grew up a Jazz fan. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I always liked the Warriors growing up just because they were like the Bay Area team.
Yeah, you got ties to the Bay. Makes sense.
Yeah. So like, all our friends and family in California were all Warriors fans. So I'm like, yeah, I like the Warriors, and it never ruffled feathers until they started winning a bunch of championships. Yeah. Then everybody's pissed.
Until they became a dynasty.
Yeah, like growing up as a kid, I'd be like, yeah, I'm a Jazz and Warriors fan. People would be like, cool. Yeah. Sounds good. And then once 2015 hit and Steph Curry and Clay went on that crazy run and won their first championship. And then they won another one, and then they won another one, and then they won another one.
Yeah.
Now I can't, if I say I'm a Warriors fan in Utah, it's like some people look at me like I killed their mother. Yeah. I'm like, but Jazz are always number 1. That's always good. Number 1. And I stand by that statement. People have heard me say that. I'm Jazz number 1 for sure. Yeah. I mean, you know how it is. It's like if you grew up a kid in Utah, like, we kind of we obviously missed like the Karl Malone and John Stockton. But for me, what was nostalgic was like the Andre Karolinko days, the Carlos Boozer days.
The late 2000s teams.
Yeah, the late 2000s. And then you got like Gordon Hayward came in and, say what you will about him. He was a little spark, and
he got the ball rolling.
And then it was really fun to have Donovan Mitchell come in and, lay some big dunks and put up good nights. And
it's showtime, man.
Yeah.
It's always a show.
Say what you will about Rudy. He was fine. He wasn't going to win us a championship, but we always had a decent playoff team.
Oh, yeah.
That, whether it be a first-round exit or a second-round exit, we at least were getting there every year and had some sort of structure. So, you got to get through these years of of pain, which is a whole lifetime of Jazz fans.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Definitely Wild fans feel. I mean, all Minnesota fans for every sport feel that. So
That's true.
I
It's tough to be a T-Wolves
can relate
fan
to
right
that.
now.
Yeah, yeah. Never fun to be a T-Wolves fan. And then the Vikings let you down every year too. So yeah, it's brutal. I always think it is nice having the Warriors be your second team because you get a glimpse of hope. Sometimes you're like, oh, the Warriors won the championship. Like, I don't really care. I'm not gonna go get a tattoo or anything, but it's like, this feels good. Feels good to watch a winning team here. But man, it'll be a riot once the Jazz win a chip here. So we'll bring the championship to Salt Lake. It's just people just gotta wait a little longer.
Yeah,
a little longer.
The Delta Center days are on the horizon. We're coming back.
We're back.
We're coming back.
They switched the sign back, and we're back.
Yeah, we're getting
Delta Center's them switching from the Vivint Center to the Delta Center, best move they've made in 10 years.
Oh yeah, we're on track
Phenomenal.
for another finals run. Yeah. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be us versus the Bulls again.
Exactly. Lowry Markkanen is taking us all the way to the finals.
Oh, I went to the game the other night.
Yeah, how was that? Who did they play?
They played the Clippers.
Oh, you went to the Clippers game?
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
It was on Wednesday night, Clippers Jazz. Markkanen just went off.
Oh, yeah.
I think he had 34 or something.
Yeah, something crazy.
Yeah, it was insane. I mean,
Didn't
the
we
guy...
win by like 20 plus?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was a blowout. But it didn't feel like a blowout. It was just fun to watch. Like, some blowouts are boring. Like, this was just a fun blowout to watch. I mean, we were just splashing from three, a few big dunks. And the Clippers always tried to make it interesting, too. They would get close, and then we'd go on another run. Then they'd get close, and go on another run. So
for sure.
Yeah.
Dude, the Clippers are a good defensive team. So, like...
Great.
It's interesting to see, like, us being a bad defensive team and a great offensive team, and then being a bad offensive team and a great defensive team. It's always an interesting matchup to see who's got the better of the lopsided play.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think that night would have been a lot different if Paul George and Kawhi play, but
yeah, that's true.
But overall, it was fun to watch us beat up on LA.
Oh yeah.
I hate all LA teams, so
I'm with that for sure, man.
Yeah,
I'm with that for sure. Well, hey, thanks for coming through.
Oh,
it's been a good time, bro.
Good to have me. Yeah,
yeah, it is good to have you.
Good to have me on your podcast. Yeah, we'll do the same time.
That was great.
We might want to edit that one out.
I feel like it's gotta stay.
It's so funny.
It's comedy gold.
Oh man, good to be here.
Yeah, dude. Well, I appreciate you coming through, and we'll have to do this again sometime.
Yeah, let me know, buddy. I'm always coming back to Utah, so yeah, we'll get together. For sure.
Heck yeah, dude. And I'll have to go out to the Bay and we'll do a special episode out there.
Yeah.
Episode out there.
You gotta visit your brother in Rohnert Park.
Exactly.
I'm right there.
For sure, dude. It was good to have you on, man. Appreciate you.
Thanks, brother.
Take care.